Picture this: a quiet, upscale neighborhood in London, Swiss Cottage. It's the afternoon of January 26, 1997. People are going about their day, browsing shops, enjoying the calm atmosphere. But in less than 2 minutes, that tranquility is about to be shattered in one of the most audacious and rapid heists the city has ever seen. This is the story of the Swiss Cottage jewel raid, a crime so perfectly executed it left police and the public absolutely stunned. How did a team of thieves manage to snatch millions of pounds worth of jewels in broad daylight, in under 120 seconds, and vanish without a trace? Let's dive into the details of this incredible smash and grab. The target was a high-end jewelry store, known for its exquisite and very expensive collection. For the thieves, this wasn't just a random act, it was a carefully planned military-style operation. The gang, believed to be part of a notorious Eastern European syndicate sometimes called the Yaks, had done their homework. They knew the store's layout, the security measures, and most importantly, they knew exactly what they were after. Timing was everything. They chose a moment when the streets were busy enough to provide cover but not so gridlocked that their escape would be impossible. The plan was simple in its concept but breathtakingly complex in its execution: get in, get the goods, and get out before anyone could even process what was happening. It all started with a roar of engines. Two powerful motorbikes and a high-performance car screeched to a halt right in front of the jewelry store. The riders and drivers, clad in dark clothing and full-face helmets, moved with a speed and precision that was almost robotic. Before the shop staff or passers-by could react, two of the men dismounted their bikes, each wielding a heavy sledgehammer. The front window of the jewelry store was made of reinforced, supposedly shatterproof glass. It was designed to withstand a significant attack. But these thieves weren't trying to be subtle. With a series of powerful, coordinated swings, they began to hammer at the glass. The sound was deafening, a percussive explosion of violence that echoed down the street. Inside, the staff were frozen with shock and fear. Outside, pedestrians ducked for cover, unsure if they were witnessing a robbery or something far worse. The reinforced glass held for a few seconds, splintering and cracking under the relentless assault, but it couldn't hold forever. Within moments, the hammers broke through, creating a gaping hole. This was the signal. Without a moment's hesitation, one of the thieves scrambled through the jagged opening. He wasn't just grabbing randomly. He knew exactly which display cases held the most valuable items: the diamond necklaces, the rare watches, the priceless rings. He moved with purpose, sweeping trays of jewels into a large bag. His partner stood guard outside, sledgehammer at the ready, a menacing figure ensuring no one interfered. The whole operation inside the store lasted less than a minute. The thief emerged back through the broken window, bag bulging with a fortune. He jumped onto the back of one of the waiting motorbikes. The drivers of the bikes and the getaway car had kept their engines revving the entire time, ready for an instant departure. As soon as their accomplice was secure, they hit the gas. The bikes and the car shot off into the London traffic, weaving through cars and disappearing into the maze of city streets. The entire event, from the moment they arrived to the moment they vanished, took less than 2 minutes. When the dust settled and the sound of their engines faded, all that was left was a shattered window, terrified witnesses, and an empty display case. The aftermath was a scene of controlled chaos. Police arrived within minutes, but the gang was long gone. They immediately sealed off the area and began interviewing witnesses. The descriptions were consistent but not very helpful: men in dark clothes and helmets. The getaway vehicles were fast and had vanished into the urban sprawl. The value of the stolen goods was staggering. Initial estimates placed the haul at around £4 million, which in today's money is a truly colossal sum. The audacity was just as shocking as the value. To pull off such a brazen daylight robbery in a busy part of London showed a level of confidence and planning that was deeply unsettling for law enforcement. The investigation that followed was one of the largest of its kind. Detectives from Scotland Yard's elite flying squad, the team dedicated to tackling armed robbery, were put on the case. They knew they weren't dealing with amateurs. The precision, the speed, the choice of high-powered vehicles, it all pointed to a highly organized international criminal gang. These smash-and-grab raids had become a signature of certain groups, and police suspected this was the work of a well-known cell. The challenge was immense. The thieves had left behind very little forensic evidence. They wore gloves, their faces were covered, and they had been on the scene for such a short time that the chances of a crucial mistake were minimal. The police had a few leads. They began to track the stolen vehicles, hoping they would be dumped somewhere and provide a clue. They also put out alerts to international law enforcement agencies and jewel markets, trying to intercept the stolen gems before they could be recut and sold off. Stolen diamonds are notoriously difficult to trace. Once they are removed from their settings and recut, they lose their unique identifying characteristics, effectively becoming untraceable. The thieves knew this. Their goal would be to get the jewels out of the country as quickly as possible, into the hands of a specialist who could transform them into clean cash. The investigation stretched on for months, then years. Despite the immense resources poured into the case, the trail went cold. The getaway car and bikes were never found. The £4 million worth of jewels were never recovered. And most frustratingly for the police, the perpetrators were never caught. It was as if they had materialized out of thin air, executed a perfect crime, and then vanished back into the shadows. The Swiss Cottage raid became a legendary case for the flying squad, a textbook example of a smash-and-grab that was, for all intents and purposes, the perfect crime. So what can we learn from this? The 1997 raid highlighted a major vulnerability in how high-value goods were protected. Even reinforced glass was no match for determined attackers with sledgehammers. It forced the jewelry industry and security firms to rethink their strategies. After this and similar raids, many stores began installing external roller shutters that could be deployed instantly, creating a solid metal barrier. Other security measures, like smoke screens that fill a shop with dense fog in seconds, also became more common. The goal shifted from simply resisting entry to making the environment inside the store impossible for a thief to operate in. The Swiss Cottage raid also serves as a stark reminder of the sophistication of organized crime. These aren't opportunistic thugs, they are meticulous planners who rehearse their operations and use high-tech equipment to defeat security systems. The raid was a display of pure, unadulterated criminal competence. The gang's ability to melt away into the city without a trace speaks to a level of logistical support and knowledge of the urban environment that is truly formidable. For them, London wasn't just a target, it was a hunting ground they knew how to navigate. Over 2 decades later, the case remains officially unsolved. The files are still open, but the chances of a breakthrough are slim. The culprits are likely scattered across the globe, the stolen fortune long since spent. But the legend of the 2-minute, £4 million heist lives on. It's a story that continues to fascinate crime enthusiasts and law enforcement professionals alike. It represents the ultimate cat-and-mouse game between criminals and the police, and in this particular instance, the mice got away clean. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes, with enough planning, nerve, and sheer audacity, it is possible to pull off the perfect crime. What do you think? Was it luck, brilliance, or a bit of both? The story of the Swiss Cottage jewel raid is a gripping chapter in the history of London crime, a moment when a quiet afternoon was torn apart by a whirlwind of sledgehammers and speed, leaving behind a mystery that endures to this day. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into some of history's most incredible heists. Let me know in the comments what other famous crimes you'd like to see covered. See you in the next video.